We're going to go through, Mr. Bright, hello, my dear, a couple different things. But before I get started, Mr. Sanchez can just be here for a few minutes because he gets to go teach technology today. But what I wanted him for is the foundation. You'll be hearing about this later. But they support a lot of our technology initiatives and upgrades. And we did quite a bit this year, and so I want Terry to come up and tell you all about that. So Terry, come on up. He loves this.
Center attention, right? Better stand camera. Yeah, so I'm Terry Sanchez. I'm technology teacher here, IT, or whatever else they come up with. Over the summer, we did a lot of enhancements, upgrades. The big thing we did this year was upgrade all the internet. The internet was kind of ancient to where we were manipulating the date on some of the pieces of equipment to pretend it was like from the year 2000, so it would still work. So we brought it up to modern standards. I think we jumped like 2 generations of internet, put in all new access wireless for all the kids in each classroom, and so that was a big undertaking. As well as having support for it. I'm still having a little issues with some printers, but I'm talking to the networking guys, and they're having me do a couple things. So the support is really nice to be able to have. The other thing we've done is we buy, every year, kind of come up with a new system. Every year the kindergartners get a new iPad. So we buy 25 new iPads every year and put in the kindergarten classroom. And then they take those iPads with them to first, to second, third, hopefully all the way through. iPads kind of went away after 4th grade because they switched over to laptops. But we're going to continue keeping the iPads in the classroom because even for like math groups, for small math groups, they want like escape rooms or math puzzles. They want stuff that they can play when they're done with their math. That's easy to go to. They don't have to lug their laptop around if they're in either the upper class or even the teachers that are outside the room. So we're going to keep the iPads with them. The 3rd graders also get new pieces of equipment. All the 3rd graders get brand new Apple Airs. MacBook Airs. There you go. MacBook Airs. So that's another 25. So we probably go through about $50,000 worth of equipment every year to put those 2 classes up to the latest technology, in hopes that the technology will keep up pace with them as they go through. Because the internet is always updating, Google Chrome is always updating, and you have to stay on top of it. And after a while, Apple stops supporting the operating system, and so as long as they keep the newer equipment, they'll keep supported. It keeps the kids safe. It keeps the teachers safe too, because we have web filters and everything, and everything works if it's upgradable. We also this year bought something new. We have what they call an MDM, a way to manage the iPads and laptops. And before, we could assign a device to a kid and kind of update it remotely, or I could put apps on it remotely. And it was Apple's first attempt at creating this. And so now we purchased an MDM, and I have full control over iPads and laptops in the whole school. I can push out updates. I can push out apps. I also can restrict things. So last year we had a couple kids starting to find some games online to play. We found out the website. Now we're able to go in there and just restrict that website. A lot of things that come with the computer that the kids find, like the photo booth app. Start taking pictures, we can restrict that very easily. So as the kids find things that, as they're curious and they find things to do on the computers, we're able to restrict it and make it so that they pay a little more attention to what's going on in class. I've been working with Mr. Kelly the past few weeks. We have another little app that attaches to where he can hit a button on his laptop, and it basically freezes all his classes' laptops. So if he says, look up here, pushes a button, it freezes their computer instantaneously, which is really nice because a lot of times, especially when I'm in there, we'll spend a couple of minutes telling kids, okay, if you can't follow directions, put your screen halfway down so that you don't get distracted, and trying to get their attention and have them stop what they're doing is sometimes tough. So we think this is going to be a little more efficient, speed it up, and kind of put bumpers, curtail their habits online. The other thing is that their Google account, we can restrict their Google account very, very easily. I've gone in there and made it so that they can't do incognito mode on their computers. If you don't know what that is, it's okay. They can't do guest mode. They have to sign in to their Google Chrome in order to use the computer. and they can't delete their history. So if there's anything that they're doing that they're not supposed to be doing, we're going to see, and it date and timestamps it. The other downside is for parents is that if they do log into their school account at home, it's also keeping track of where they go. So, you know, we can usually tell what they're doing, you know, at home, but it's only if it becomes an issue. You know, very rarely do we have a student that's, you know, comes up and is doing something they shouldn't be, and then we have to go look through their history. But we can, and we can see where they were at or what time of day it was. So, putting on a lot more restrictions and kind of holding them accountable. We're also implemented this year accountability for the students, so where if they're doing something not supposed to be on an electronic device, we can take it away for the day. They keep doing it, we'll take it away for a week. And a lot of the older kids are almost in tears because you're taking away their computer for a week, and they almost live on it. You know, especially the 5th and 6th graders are always on it every day. They're either doing math, or they're doing research, or they're writing papers. So it really hinders them. And last year we had a 3rd grader that we were giving out the paper and pencil to, you know, so that they could they couldn't use their computer. So really just getting more restrictive on the technology. So it's good.
And the kids are all being told about all these changes too, so they're
Yes.
very well aware of, they have to sign a contract.
You'll be seeing the contracts come home. We're trying to enforce that more and going over it and having them put a check mark next to each line so they understand, you know, what's expected of them in the classroom. I think that's it. Unless there's anything else you want.
Carrie's an amazing tech teacher and tech IT guru. He helps everybody at the school. So let's give him a big round of applause because he's amazing.
Okay.
All right, so this is just kind of going through some things. You should have gotten the newsletter today, and that has a link to our parent handbook that a lot of this information's in there. But I'm just going to review for you some of the things about our school. So our vision is empowering students to create a better world. Our mission is to challenge minds, nurture character, and respect individuality in a supportive community. Our values are being respectful, responsible, open-minded, and empathetic. Expectations. So this is our goal, is all students will leave Del Mar Pines demonstrating integrity, compassion, accountability, and a growth mindset. I don't know how many of you know about a growth mindset, but it's huge. Every class is talking about it, the difference between the fixed and the growth mindset. And we're all about trying and taking chances. We don't expect perfection, but we expect effort and we expect trying. And that mistakes are part of learning. We kind of value mistakes, that's the only way that you learn. So those are our expectations, what we want from our kids. Just FYI, all of our staff are CPA and first aid certified every year. We do have an AED defibrillator in the office. Fortunately, we've never had to use it, but we have it if we need to. Every year we do a parent survey for probably the last 12 or so years. There are about 50-something questions, and it's about all aspects of the school that I'm going to go over with you. I always ask to try to get 100 parents. I don't normally get that, but I got 87 this year, so I was happy about that. For every question, there's 5 categories that they can choose. It's either strongly agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. So when I go through, I combine the strongly and agree, and the rest of them, I don't count. Don't want to count them. But my goal is to be in the 90%, just like kids. I want to get an A. So this is, we do really well, and the survey results have been pretty consistent over the years. But it's good just feedback for us if there are any areas to work on. So Del Mar Pines School is living its mission statement, 96% strongly agree. We're living our vision statement, 97. It's living its guiding principle, which is we don't just teach, we help students learn, 98%. Del Mar Pines provides an environment where all members are treated with respect, 97%. Del Mar Pines provides an environment that fosters honesty, it's supposed to be, and personal accountability. Some of these pictures are new this year too. You might see your kids. The school facilities are adequate to support students' learning needs. 93. Provides a safe and orderly environment for learning. 97. Delmar Pine School Mathematics program was effective this year. 91%. And this actually surprises me because our math scores are like through the roof. We are so, you can't get any better than our standardized test scores on these. And our students, compared to anybody else, they're amazing. Language arts program was effective, 93. Social studies was effective, 92. Science program was effective, 84. That's a little lower than we like, but we can work on that. Hands-on science provides engaging lessons and enhances curriculum. Which they do a lot of really fun things in hands-on science. And it is tied to what they're studying in the classroom. The school Spanish program provides exposure in language and culture and gives students the opportunity to interact in Spanish. 75 or 72. I think some parents have unrealistic expectations about what a half an hour twice a week their kids are going to be able to do. The goal is not to have them bilingual by any stretch. They just don't get enough of it, but it's to get exposure to the language. They actually do learn a lot more, but parents want them talking, and that's the hardest thing in another language. So actually their reading and writing and their vocabulary and their knowledge about Spanish speaking cultures is better than you would think. And Mrs. Fritz is trying really hard to be communicating what the kids are doing in class a lot better. So she will periodically be sending emails about what your kids are learning or sending things home for you.
Marcy?
Yeah.
I think worth pointing out that is a number that has consistently been that year after year, and I think it's because of where he says the expectation of speaking Spanish instead of the expectation of the cultural significance of studying somebody else's culture is really the focus, not, can they carry on a conversation?
Right. Thank you. And that was actually, the score was like 10 points higher than it was the year before. So we're moving in the right direction, which is what I want. Our school technology program provides exposure to relevant technology. We do know technology is an important part of learning, but we also want kids to understand the good and the bad about it, and really having them know the dangers of it as well as what the benefits are. The music program was effective this year through all exposure to all various aspects of music education, performing, singing, playing, movement, and listening, 88%. For those of you who are new, we have a spring sing every year that's a huge show. Last year we did Shrek Jr., the year before we did Annie Jr., this year we're doing Beauty and the Beast. And it's a huge show that every child in the school participates in, and it's a lot of fun. So 87% on that one. The school art program provides students with a wide variety of art techniques and vocabulary, 99%. Everybody loves Mrs. Robinson, she's amazing. And that's nice because the parents get to see the artwork. I mean, it goes home a lot, they know what's happening. Some of the other subjects, things aren't going home, so you don't really know what's happening. PE, everybody loves PE. Mr. Fortin has more enthusiasm than most kindergartners. I don't know how he does it. Classroom teachers provide a reasonable and appropriate amount of homework. We don't have any homework in kindergarten, but 1st through 6th grade, we try to stick to about 10 to 15 minutes per grade. So 1st grade should be working 10 to 15 minutes. By 6th grade, they're probably working around an hour. And some parents want more homework and some parents want no homework, and we think I think homework does have a good purpose. I think it's teaching life skills that they're going to need, but we don't want it to be burdensome. DMP ancillary teachers are effective in inspiring your children to do their best academically, socially, and emotionally. And the classroom teachers are effective in inspiring your children. So really good on both of those. DMP curriculum meets the overall learning needs of your children, 98%. Classroom teachers communicated my child's progress effectively this year. The teachers' weekly emails and Instagram accounts were effective means of communication this year. So every teacher has an Instagram account, so I think they probably notified you already on how to sign up. Kindergarten's been posting a lot. I hope you've been seeing them all. They're super cute. But I think everybody's starting to post, which is really nice. The room parents send home a weekly email, typically on either Sunday or Monday, and the classroom teachers are also sending information. So they'll be giving you more information about your specific class, but you should be getting plenty of communication. DMP report cards are an effective form of providing feedback, 98%. There are 3 report card periods during the year and 3 parent-teacher conferences. The first one coming up, obviously you're not going to have a report card because it's the second week of school, but that's really your opportunity to be telling the teachers what your goals are, how you think your child best learns, what some of his or her strengths or weaknesses, those kind of things. And then the other 2 report cards, or the 3 report cards are more them telling you how they're doing in the different areas, and they're very detailed. You get a lot of information about where exactly your child is. Classroom teachers provide timely and constructive feedback, 95%. Delmar Pines director responds to parents' needs in a timely and effective manner. Pretty good. Delmar Pines director responds to students' needs in a timely and effective manner. That makes me happy. DMP provides sufficient opportunities for parent involvement, 97%. This was a great improvement from COVID years when it was down in like the 70s because we didn't have the opportunities, but last year and this year we have a lot. I've already sent out information for Science Discovery Day coming up in October, so hopefully you have read that, and hopefully we can get a lot of parents for that. We have Young Artist Day in January. We have the Halloween Carnival. We have our gala party that Joelle will talk about, or Jenny will talk about. There's lots of fun things that we do that need a lot of parent involvement. So, yes.
Talk about Science Discovery Day. How many people are like kindergarten or first grade parents here? Okay. You don't need science background to be volunteering in science. It's every day. You just come up, search the internet, find something, and the other kids will love it. So you don't need to be a scientist.
Yeah, it's super fun too. Dan, isn't it fun?
Yeah, it's a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good way, and the kids love it when you show up. So you do 4 different presentations. They're like 28 to 30 minutes. The same thing you do 4 times. Your child can go to one of your 4 stations or sessions, and then they could go to other things. But it's a really, really fun day. So hopefully you can all participate. Survey results. What do you like best? These answers are super consistent pretty much every single year. It's always the teachers, the small nurturing community, strong academics, how happy my children are, the warm, welcoming, and fun environment, dedicated staff with quick response for any parent-teacher questions, high quality education, small class size, great community. The overall environment is truly magical, and we just feel blessed to be a part of the DMP community. The teachers and Marcy and Laura, community, respect, education, curriculum, helping students in how to learn, preparing students for private middle schools, and everything. We truly love DMP. So pretty much when I'm reading those to the parents, getting 87 responses, this is almost all of them. So I think it's really nice. The Delmar Pens Foundation for Education is successful in its mission of supporting and enhancing the educational experience of students, 92%. And Joelle's going to now come up and talk about our foundation and what it is and why we have it. So I'll push the button for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, I'm a very proud DMP parent, and that's why I'm here today. I've been a parent for 7 years now, and I've had a daughter that just graduated this past June, so I've seen the experience from K through 6, and I will have to say it is just such a small school that nurtured her so well, and she just has this confidence that she got from here, and she was able to take this confidence with her and carry it with her for everything she does. So it's really a magical place, and all the kindergarten, first grade parents that are here, you really have chosen a great school for your kids. So I also have a 4th grader, Leanna, and I have a 1st grader and a son in 1st grade. So I just wanted to tell you what the foundation is, who is in it, what we do, what our goals are, and what we're spending our money on. So this little presentation is just a summary of it all. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was created about 14 years ago. I've been a part of this now for 3 years, and this is my 2nd year being the president. We raise funds for the school's educational needs that tuition dollars do not cover, and it helps to keep the tuition costs low. So I have this slide that I found that I think explains what the foundation is. It's like closing the gap. So Marcy keeps the tuition really low, but we also want to do upgraded technology and whatever needs come through. So we need to bridge by spending a little bit of extra money in 2 areas, the fall campaign and the spring gala. Donations are tax deductible. The school leadership and teachers request grants when the needs arise, and the foundation can grant requests. We don't have any say in school policies or making school changes. So, like I said, we have the fall campaign, which is kicking off right now, and it'll go until about the end of October, beginning of November, and then we have the spring gala, which is our big fun party of the year. So this picture's kind of blurry. I think it came from my iPhone, but this was us at the spring gala. A lot of the board members are in this picture, and this past year, Jenny Kropko, I want to introduce her today. She is our gala lead, and she did an amazing job last year. She took over for also Megan sitting right next to her, helped create the whole, Indian cuisine and just celebrating the Indian community, and it was an amazing event.
It was a Bollywood theme, and it was so fun.
Bollywood, we dressed up, and the Indian community really came together and helped us get our outfits together, and it was just so much fun. And we made almost record-setting money that year, and we are able to show you everything we're doing with that money. So this next year, we're pretty happy we're gonna honor the Chinese community because it's the year of the dragon, and so we're gonna have the same venue, but we're gonna change our outfits, and many of the Chinese community are interested in helping Jenny and Megan. They would love the help. So thank you, Jenny and Megan. And we brought on Megan this year to the board. She is gonna be doing a lot of our social. This is a new position, but she's gonna create more family gatherings outside of Del Mar Pines, giving back to our community. We want to do more charity. We want to get our kids to actually go out into the community and help people. A lot of what we've been doing, they're not involved as much. We just want to make them experience more. So look out for emails from Megan. She's going to help push this part along a little bit. We also have a treasurer. She's busy working today. She can't be here, Yushin. Rachna Argawala, she's our secretary, and she's traveling right now. And Bao Trung is also a busy mom, working as well, but she is our room parent coordinator. So all those emails you see, she is the head of that, drafting it, organizing all the room parents. And then Marcy, our fearless leader, she helps us. She comes to all of our meetings and guides us to all of our decisions. So thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
And so we're a small board, 6 of us. We can't do it all together, so we've kind of pulled in some ambassadors. So your kindergarten ambassador, I want to introduce Hirsch Mehta. There's a lot of kindergartners here. He's going to help us push along the fall campaign. So if you have any questions, direct them to Hirsch and his wife Neha, and Shyam is their child in kindergarten. I will be the ambassador for 1st grade and 4th grade, along with Jenny. Vanessa London, who's Cole's mom, in 2nd grade. Yushin, who's Brian's mom, in 3rd grade. And again, it's all of us on the foundation for 4th grade. We have a big presentation, and 5th grade. Same foundation members. And then 6th grade, I don't know if we have any 6th grade parents, but it's Wilson, and he used to be part of the foundation. He was the president for a year, so if you have any questions, these are your people that you would go to for the fall campaign. So who donates to the foundation? It's mostly our current family members. We do have some grandparents that like to donate, board members, alumni. We also have corporate matches that have been super generous. We get a lot from all the different companies, and even our teachers donate to the foundation.
Do you want to just mention some of the, do you know some of the corporations?
The
I know
list is
Qualcomm's a huge
growing.
one. We get a lot of money from Qualcomm.
Yes.
Is a big one.
I have to get that list because there's so many companies this year that we have had new donations. So I'll have to get that list. Yeah. So I'm so glad that Mr. Sanchez was here to talk about all that technology. He did a way better job than I could. I won't go into much detail because he covered a lot of that. But we've really listened to these parent emails and what they want us to spend money on. And so this year we're doing a comprehensive new security system. So our kids are, we'll pay insurance for our kids to stop a school shooting. So what we've done is we put 17 cameras throughout the campus.
We're going to. It's not installed yet, but by the end of the month it should be.
Soon, right, in the works. We're getting a virtual guard monitoring system, which incorporates AI, artificial intelligence. It's going to detect any type of weapons in the area, and then it has an integration to the local police. There's a lot of details about it, but we're spending a good chunk of our money this year on this. So a lot of parents are worried about safety of their children.
Yeah, but it's nice. What we purchased now, it's over 10 years. So it was a big chunk of money to start off with, but it's good for 10 years. We won't be having any more costs unless we upgrade more systems. So
it comes with the annual upgrade anytime they upgrade the system. So it'll be a great investment for our children. So technology, I won't repeat all that Mr. Sanchez said. He had it. But you will notice physically in our classrooms, they're going to be installed in
October 30th.
Yeah,
is
we're
when
getting
they should
there.
be.
So all kindergarten, first, second, third, and sixth are all getting new desks, chairs, tables. Fourth grade's getting new chairs. Fifth grade's getting new chairs, new cubbies and bookcases for kindergarten and first. The kindergarten first and science teachers are getting these lectern desks. I think they go up and down and like a little storage unit. So they went and picked that out this summer. There's also going to be a storage nest in technology, folding tables in the fourth and fifth middle room connector. And then storage cabinets in second and third grade. So a lot of new refresh. Yes?
Hi, just a quick question about the 17 cameras. Who's going to be monitoring those?
Well, we'll have a monitor in the office that we can have. So Laura will be able to monitor it during the day, or anybody passing by can be able to see what's going on. We're not going to have a person stationed there and just staring at it all day. And it's not the weapon detection program is monitored 24/7 all the time by AI, and then if it spots something, then they have real people that actually double check it. But the other program, it's just the cameras around, and we can do instant feeds or being able to rewind or see what's going on. We have them on the street too, so I'm hoping that'll help monitor some of the crazy driving going on, that I can send a video clip and send it to Torrey Pines and say, please get this kid off the road. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, in the classroom furniture, we have a PD day on October 30th, so the hope is it's all going to be installed on that day. So when you come in November, it'll be beautiful.
And I just wanted to touch upon what the foundation has covered in the past. That was what we're doing this year, but in the past, 5 to 10 years, just recently during our COVID years here at Del Mar Pines, we were able to have our kids, in person every day, and a lot of that was from funding from the foundation. So we were able to do hand sanitizers everywhere, sanitation systems that covered every room. We had technology, we had an app, to answer all the questions. So we really helped keep the kids in school. The foundation gave a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And then we also had a playground shade also in the past 2 years that was installed. And this is where we do our little musicals. Every grade does a musical, and so we've done a lot of upgrades to the music program with new instruments, new lighting, new microphones, new audio systems. So this floor, I think, was new in the last couple of years, so we've done a lot for the music program.
And we have electric guitars and drum sets and all kinds of instruments.
Yeah, Mr. Spurgeon's had a lot of input when he came on board a few years ago. And then like Mr. Sanchez said, every year we refresh. Kindergartners get all new iPads, third graders get all new laptops. We've also done some laser printers.
3D machine.
Is that, what is that?
Printing.
The
3D printing.
The 3D printing.
It's in the science room.
Yeah. And then the art room got an upgrade a few years back, and we have a kiln. We got science tables, microscopes. So we try to make sure the money is going to all our different specialty areas. The 6th grade edition, like Dan was saying, it's in the back, you wouldn't even know, but it's a whole edition that we did probably, 10 years ago, before I was here. And also the playground, we resurfaced it, and we also added the library way back. So the question is, how much do we donate to our fall campaign? And we just want to pressure that any amount is fine. We just want support. The foundation just wants your support. So our goal is to get our class to all participate. So whatever money is good for your family, we accept it. But we kind of recommend a $300 donation per child at DMP. That is our ask. We haven't increased it at all. We didn't feel like we needed to because we were able to do well with our gala end. So for the last 10 years, it's been $300. And very excited about our Venmo. We now have a Venmo account. It was a lot of paperwork. It has charitable. We're now legal with taxes, so that makes it easy. So open house will have little QR codes. You can scan it and send your money over. We also have PayPal, and of course cash and checks. So.
Yeah, and some families give more and some families give less. And like Joelle said, it's really, I mean, if your family can give $10, give $10. It's better than zero because we just want accounting. We really are going for 100% participation. So
we really involve the kids too. So we haven't come up with what the prize is going to be yet, but the kids, if their class gets to 100% first, we usually do something special, and it can be from ice cream or dunking Marcy in the Halloween tank, or it changes every year depending on what we get creative with. So the kids get kind of excited about it too. So, and this is a banner we're going to have posted, but again, it's bridging the gap, keeping tuition costs low, and just having this stellar cost of education. And every little bit that you guys can donate is really helpful to us. So, thank you.
yay, thank you, Joelle. And Joelle and the board members, they really do put in a lot of time and effort into our school, and we couldn't do all the things that we do without them. So it is a great organization, and you'll be seeing a lot of them. So they are around, so ask them questions if you have them. One thing I really want to work on this year is parent education. During COVID, we weren't able to do very much of this. I've been in contact with Hildy Gross, who's a local parent coach in the area, and I sent out a survey that I think 18 or 20 people filled out with 10 topics of workshops that she does. We narrowed it down to 3. The first one I think is about your child's self-esteem, and that's going to be November 5th, I believe, or October 5th. I don't know, it's on the calendar. Oh, October 5th. And the survey said that Thursday mornings were best for people, so I'm following what the survey results were. So it should be an hour-and-a-half presentation that she's doing. If we get good participation and people like it, we could do 2 more with her during the year. I'm planning on doing a book talk on Hunt Gather Parent. I read this book a few years ago, and I thought it was really interesting and really well done with a lot of good information in it. So I'm doing it. I will do it again this year, probably sometime in early November is what my goal is. So I'll give more information on that. But if you're looking for a book to read, this is a really good one. This is another book that I think is absolutely essential for all parents, The Gift of Failure, how the best parents learn to let go so their children can succeed. I did a book talk on this a couple of years ago, and it is really, really good. So it's how, failure really is a gift, and the kids who fail early and often are much better off in the long run, building that grit and resiliency that life is hard, and the sooner you learn that you have to put in a lot of effort, the better it's going to be. So, highly recommend this book. and if there's interest, I can do a book talk on this later in the year too. And the third book, this is one that I've made the teachers read this year, Read or Come Home. It's a reading brain in a digital world. This is by Marianne Wolf, who is one of the gurus on brain theory and neuroscience and how the brain learns to read. It's actually super fascinating that any of us have ever learned to read, because all the things that have to go on in your brain to be able to take written words and understand what it's talking about, it's quite interesting. So the first part of it is really technical, about deep reading and all that your brain has to do, and then the second part is how our brains and our children's brains are changing in a digital age. We're getting away from deep reading that we used to do, me included, and how hard it is. I had to deep read, and it was so hard. Like, I was going by with my highlighter and really having to reread things. My brain doesn't do that anymore. I have just a scanner, scroller like everybody else, read the highlights, and that's it. So it made an impact on me about how this applies to me as much as it does to our kids, but how deep reading and how reading on a device is not the same thing as reading a real book, and pluses and minuses. And she's not anti all technology, but it's got to be balanced like everything else, which is what I believe in too. So this is a great book, especially if your child has any reading challenges. This is really good. It helps you really understand where they're coming from, because it is not easy. So,
Marcy, can I take a picture of this?
of course. Well, we are recording this, and it will be on our YouTube's channel on Tuesday. I highly recommend all these. And I'm always open. If you come across a really good book that you think our parents or our teachers would benefit from, please let me know. Okay, every year our 2nd to 6th graders take a test called the CTP5 that is made by the same company that makes the ISEE test, which is the independent school exam. It is mostly for independent schools. A lot of the public school testing is just comparing to public schools, but I don't want to compare ourselves to public schools. I want to compare ourselves to independent schools across the country. And these are the results for our 3rd through 6th graders from the May testing. So we take all of our average percentile scores and compare them to the independent schools in the country. And our test scores are amazing. Our quantitative and math are both like 98, 99th percentile compared to everyone else. So they're really, really strong. And I don't live and die by test scores. I think it's important, but it's not the most important thing. Having kids who are resilient and proactive and kind and critical thinkers, I think is more important. But because we do all of those other things, we get great results. So let's face it, we're awesome. I think we are awesome for a lot of different reasons. And these are some of the reasons why you are all here. We provide a nurturing environment that's physically, socially, and emotionally safe for all. Our kids like coming to school. They want to be here. Emphasize good citizenship and character education. We're always talking about what it means to be a good citizen and a good friend, how we treat one another, teaching the whole range of enrichment classes that are integral parts of the whole entire program, with the art and the music and the Spanish and technology, hands-on science and library. Go beyond normal academics to respecting others and self, offering performing arts at every grade level, which also helps develop outstanding public speaking skills. I think public speaking and feeling comfortable in front of an audience is one of the most critical things for our kids, especially since COVID, when they weren't really out talking to anybody. We have a friend who's a freshman in college. He came over for dinner last night, and he said just how his age, like 18-year-olds, their social skills are terrible right now. They don't even know how to carry on a conversation. They're just plugged into their headphones all the time. He says it's really quite shocking. And I don't want that for our kids. I want our kids to feel comfortable and confident being able to participate and present their ideas and be able to perform, because it's, one, it's fun, two, they learn a ton, and three, there's teamwork and so many other things that go on with it. So to me, that's something really important. We're a close-knit community that knows your child. All the teachers know all the students and the parents. I sit in on every single parent-teacher conference from kindergarten through 6th grade. We have parent volunteers, special school events, and field trips. So our kids are busy, and we're busy, but it's doing really fun, interesting, and educational things. Our after-school enrichment classes, wow, a lot of classes sold out within the first like 4 hours this time. So parents were really excited for the after-school enrichment classes. And we have 3 sessions coming up. And we have excellent resources to enhance the education through our DMP Foundation. Character counts, so we are a No Place for Hate school. We have a No Place for Hate is tied into student leadership, and there's at least 3 projects, full school projects that they do during the year. It's all about trying to be inclusive and understanding one another, being kind. We have an emphasis on clear and consistent school rules, values, and student expectations. The teachers focus on acknowledging positive behaviors and use redirection techniques to help students make better choices. So if a child's not doing what they're supposed to, the teachers are guiding them to be able to see it's not you're wrong or you're bad. That has nothing to do with it. It's like, what could you do differently? What choice did you make? And can you make what choice might be a better one for you next time on whatever it is. Diverse, inclusive, and age-appropriate literature in the library and classrooms. So we are wanting our kids to know about others and people in our world. And our 6th graders read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. That I think is a great book to help prepare them for middle school and life beyond Delmar Pines. We are fully accredited, so our term ends in 2025. So next year will be a WASC year when we do a whole reevaluation of everything about our school that we have to do every 6 years. So there'll be parent surveys even more specifically about that. When a team from other educational professionals come on campus, we have to write a big 100-page report. They read the report and then they come, and they're basically, what WASC is doing is just saying, do you do what you say you do, when they come out and check us out. And several of its teachers and myself have done WASC visits at other schools, and it's a really good experience to go into another school and see what they're doing. I always get new ideas, which is fun. Some things we're trying this year. The last couple of years we were doing iReady in grades K to 6. This year we're switching to IXL online for reading and math. One of the main reasons is because IXL ties directly to our Eureka Math program that we're doing right now, so we're looking for greater consistency of information. It also has a lot of diagnostics and assessments, so IXL is really improved in a lot of ways, so we think it's going to be really good for us. So all your students will have IXL accounts for both reading and math. We just did a training for our K-2 teachers on the Max Scholar Orton Gillingham and Science of Reading training. There'll be the other half of it will be on October 30th. There's lots of materials, and Orton Gillingham is really good. Especially, it's good for all kids, but especially for kids who have dyslexia or who have reading challenges. It's another way to be teaching them where they need it. So this is a really good training that the teachers are going through. And like Terry said, we've added iPads in grades 4 to 6 for some math apps and other teaching resources. Classroom teacher-parent communications, the weekly emails, at least weekly, but a lot of classes do daily Instagram posts. 5th and 6th grade have their assignments on Google Classroom. And there is open communication. If you have any questions ever, feel free to email your teachers. That's probably the best way to communicate with them, and they will get back to you in probably 24 hours. If you email them at 8 o'clock in the morning, do not expect a response till after school because they're not checking their emails when they're teaching your kids. So give them time to be able to answer. But if there is something really important, you can always call the school. You can always contact me. We're all here to help you, and we want the communication to be flowing. Early dismissal at Torrey Pines. So Torrey Pines starts at 8:30. From 8 to 8:30, the traffic's kind of bad. And every 2 weeks, or every other Wednesday, they get out at 2:30, and those are the days that we get out at 3:05 because we can't get out at the same time they do, or it would not work. So those are our late dismissal days, and they're all on the Google Calendar that we have. So please check that. I'm in a group of heads of independent schools that we have about 20 of us. These are some of the schools that are in our group. We've been meeting for about 7 years or so now. And it's been really nice to just get communication. They're a great resource if something's going on that we want feedback from another head of school, like how are you doing this, or what are you doing at your school? It's a great resource. During COVID, we were meeting literally every week online. We could not have gotten through it without each other's support because it was really impossible, but we all pulled it off. So now that we're back to regular school, we're meeting once a quarter. So it's like, we all know what we're doing in regular school, but COVID was a whole different ballgame. But it is a great group and a great resource, and it's nice. We compete, but we're actually friends, and we want to be helping the whole public school, independent school community in San Diego. And we're going to have a terrific year, so that's the end of my presentation. So thank you. Any questions? Yes?
So we have a YouTube channel?
Yes, so it's not public, but so if you go to YouTube and say Del Mar Pine School, and you'll have all the videos. So all the class musicals, most of the flag salutes, these type of meetings. So there's a lot of information on there. Also on the parent education on October 5th, she said that we can video that too, because I know some parents and the teachers want to know what the information is, but they can't obviously be here when they're teaching. So those will be recorded too. So that's a good way to find all kinds of different things. Yeah.
I would love to know, what is the general philosophy around technology integration in the elementary school year? So I have a kindergartner, so I'm new to all education in elementary school, so I'd love to know what Del Mar Pines' philosophy is.
Well, we really see technology as a tool. It's not the teacher. We never want the technology like giving instructions to the kids. It's like the teachers are doing the instruction, but it's kind of a resource to be able to help. It's like IXL, so when the teachers have taught a lesson, it's a good way to go reinforce if they learned it or not. Even though they still do paper pencil things too, it's just another avenue to be able to do that. There are some really good ways to get their creativity out, so a lot with social studies or science. Like I know in 2nd grade, they study producers and consumers, and so they do this cute little storyboard presentation about how a banana gets from the farm to the grocery store, and so they learn all about those different areas, and so they make their pictures, and then they tell the whole story. That's really cute. So we're using it to show what they know. It's not the only way. We also do tons of art, paper, pencil things too. When they're reading novels and we're reading books, they're always reading real books. So it has its place, but it's not, I would say, there may be, well, on technology days, that's a whole hour block that they're probably on it most of the time. But in the lower grades, they may be on them for 10, 15 minutes a couple times a day. Yeah?
Kind of a follow-up for the older kids who might do research and write reports at home and stuff. I know it's a dynamic field right now, but what's your stance on using like ChatGPT, AI to assist doing reports and homework and things like that?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's something that's just changing all the time right now. So we don't have a solid policy yet, but I think the teachers, I mean, we did catch a couple of kids last year in 5th grade that they were writing a report, and the teacher was like, this doesn't really sound like them. She copied and pasted and said, you just copied this straight off of, it was like something that they shouldn't have been doing. So, I mean, the teachers are aware and they can kind of understand what they're doing. Certain things, certain aspects, they might still be doing paper pencil, having to write it if it's something that they're really trying to get, like what are this child's words that they're doing right there in front of them. Because sometimes you can't tell if they're doing it at home, if it was their work or not. But the teachers kind of have enough assessment points to be able to know if this is actually the child's work or not. Sometimes you can tell the parents had a lot to of input into this paper too. It didn't say, it looks totally different than it did in class, and being able to connect those two. But I don't know, I think the whole AI and ChatGPT, I think it's really scary for me because this is not my field, all the technology part of it, but I don't know, I see AI taking over the world and I'm not happy about it at all.
One of the craziest stories I personally saw with this, like the cheating or the not, it was not an intended cheating, it was the not appropriately accrediting the source. And my wife was a keynote speaker at a college in in China for a program called Mathematica. And we visited a college while she was a keynote speaker. And so a teacher friend of her from China through this Mathematica, their students were giving presentations and using Mathematica. And this girl gets up and gives a presentation and uses a demonstration that my wife had created and put on a website. And it looked like it was her own demonstration. And here we're all the way in China. My wife was in, by the way, I created that. So the student was highly embarrassed. But that's the type of thing that's really teaching where it comes from. You know, that's important.
Yes, we try very hard, especially in the upper grades. It's like you got to cite your sources, you got to say where this information's coming from, because that's the main place to be able to do research. It's very hard to go in a library and find books anymore. It just makes it a lot more difficult. So,
well, I just to interject on this. I
Yeah.
had a friend who has a son, and he got busted. And he was a junior, he wrote a paper, and so there's some kind of software that can now see that, oh, yeah, so it's out there.
They're backtracking, so of course the ChatGPT makers actually removed that tool, basically saying that we can't actually do this. It's not going to be very accurate. But I know a lot of professors and colleges stuff are moving towards just oral presentations and stuff, going back to the basics, because until someone finds a way to combat it, it's like, all right, let's just watch the kids give speeches and go back.
Like paper and pencil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
we'll figure it out.
No, it is something. I mean, it's changing all the time, so it is a big problem.
Do you still do the mapping?
The mind mapping and plot development. Yeah. 2nd and 3rd grade, we still do mind maps and plot development papers to really teach kids to understand literature. It's a really great program.
So the follow-up question is, at what age, which grade, that you guys start seeing the most problems, concerns about using technology in general?
Typically 5th and 6th grade, because those are the kids who are more into it. But I mean, some of these kids, they're on computers a lot at home, which I mean, we have a lot of gamer kids that are doing, I don't know, Minecraft is a huge one, and then there's some other ones that
Roblox.
I don't. Roblox, yes, Roblox is a big one. So we had a 3rd grader get in trouble last year because they were doing something on the computer they weren't supposed to be doing. So it keeps, unfortunately, getting younger and younger. And I don't know. I think parents don't know a lot of what the kids are doing. If they have devices at home, I don't put a lot of faith that they're making good choices because they're little kids and their brains are not developed and they don't have the self-discipline yet to be able to say, this is not a good idea, or I've been on this for an hour and this is not good for my brain. They're addictive, they're meant to be addictive, and it's very hard for some kids, I think most kids, to be able to get themselves off of it. So I'm not a big fan. I think there's definitely a time and a place for it, but kids still have to be reading books, they still need to be playing, they still need to be doing puzzles, they still need to be running outside. They still need to be kids and not be on devices all the time. I think it is not good for them. I'm very glad my kids didn't see their first device till they were in middle school. And then we still had tons of problems. I mean, it's terrible. And parenting a kid who has access to it, especially in middle school, high school, when they're going to bed after you and you try to, we had the contracts, we had everything. It was a complete disaster. It's just very hard. But I would think at home, like shutting off the internet at 8 o'clock or whatever it is, sometimes you just have to do it. You have no access to these things. Because they will find their way around it. They're way smarter than the parents, 99% of them, and they will find their ways around it. They talk to their friends, how did you do that? What did you do? They're way smarter. And so no matter what you try, that's why you don't give it to them. And I'm a big believer, do not give your kids cell phones until they graduate from Delmar Pines. They do not need it. It's a mess. And once you give it to them, it's really hard to take it away. So that is from experience.
Do you guys ever have any kind of education courses, material, information of teaching us parents of how to safeguard, just technology in general, or even cybersecurity related, anything, or all of us would be very interested. At least I would love to learn and really protect or just to save guide,
They have, we had a parent who was in the FBI and she came and did a presentation a couple years ago. We've had people in the police come in previous years, and we usually get about this many people to come. I mean, there's lots of resources out there on how to do it, so I can look into it again. I know Dr. Perez, who's our school psychologist, who works with our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. She does a lot with some of those things of how to be safe and cyberbullying and all of those type of things. So yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could touch a little bit about the psychology part. I don't know if there's like a psychologist or counseling person on site when our kids are like stressed that they can go to. Probably already, I don't know, just curious.
No, we have a school psychologist, but she's not a psychologist in her role. She's a teacher. And she works with the class. She doesn't do individual therapy sessions. I mean, pretty much if a child's having problems, they go to their teachers or they go to me, and we do what we can to help. But we're not therapists and we're not counselors. But we can refer out for students if they're really, really struggling and they might need some outside intervention. We know people in the community that can help for those things. But most of it is if the parents aren't stressed, your kids are going to be less stressed. So it's putting things into perspective. And if the kid gets a bad grade on some test in 4th grade, it is not the end of the world. It's actually the best thing that could possibly happen to them, and that's when they're going to learn. So, and it's really hard when you're a parent and it's your first child and you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And you just have to take a step back and like, what can you learn from this opportunity? Were you happy with the score? No. What can you do next time? What can you learn from it? And that one test is not going to ruin their life. They're not getting into Harvard. And it just makes me crazy when parents are like, what they do in 3rd grade is going to impact their whole life. No, it's not. Calm down.
Yeah, actually 2 questions. First one is about drugs. So I attend a police department presentation. They talk about fentanyl, how they handle with social. So is there any education for kids? Just let them know what these are and keep away from those things. Do you provide any kind of education?
I'm sure there are, probably through the police department, through student education.
But in school, do you provide teaching any of this knowledge, say what those are, or they just don't talk about it?
Well, I know when Dr. Perez, when she's teaching about the cyberbullying, and I think we tell the kids, if you're gaming or if you're ever playing with somebody, whatever those connection things are in these games, to know who you're playing with, because that's where a lot of predators are out there and they're trying to get kids to get involved. They say that they're 15 or 13 or something, and they're really 50-year-old men. So I know we do some of that, but we don't do as much as we probably could. I think it's more for the parents to be able to say, like, these are the rules that you need to sit down if you're playing those games, because they're not playing those games here at school.
For us, we tell the kids don't eat anything you don't know who gave you that's a candy, because in the police department show they said right now they put things like small candy and then try to attract kids. So I don't know if school provide any teaching for those kids. And the second question is about public speaking. As you mentioned, you have there some teaching activities. So could you give more detail about what kind of opportunity you have in school for public speaking, and the teacher give kids feedback of how they do it, do they do good or anything to improve?
Yeah, we do a lot. I mean, especially in kindergarten and first grade, they do a poem a month that they're memorizing, and they're hard poems like Robert Louis Stevenson and other people. And they work on it for a month, and they recite it as a class, and then kids can individually stand up in front of the class and recite the poem. And then sometimes at a flag salute, the kindergartners will all recite the poem to the parents at flag and the rest of the community, which they're very proud of themselves. First grade does the same thing. When they're the super kid for the week, they stand up. Every kid in kindergarten and first grade has a super kid week that they get to bring in a poster about what's special about them, bring in a show and tell. They also have jobs to do, so if they're the calendar person or the date person or the pledge person, they need to stand up in front of the class and be able to say, okay, today is Friday, September 1st, 2023, blah, 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 the weather's this, what we're doing. So with the jobs in every grade, they have different jobs to do, they have different leadership roles that they're doing. They give formal presentation or formal speeches in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. We do speech masters. The 4th grade gives a demonstration speech. 5th grade does an informational speech, and 6th grade does a persuasive. That's a formal graded assignment. But even in pretty much in all the grades, like in Spanish, they might get up and they'll do a little group presentation, and they need to talk about whatever it is. In technology, they do group presentations. So they're constantly, I mean, it's kind of something that the kids are talking pretty much every day. There are many, many opportunities. Your kids are never just sitting there staring at a teacher teaching all day long. That doesn't happen. What else? Yeah?
With the technology instruction, are there any actual typing classes?
Yes, and 3rd grade is when they really focus on typing. 3rd and 4th grade. And so, yeah. Because starting in 4th grade, they do a lot of their writing on the computer, so they have to be able to learn how to touch type. So 3rd grade's kind of the big push. And 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th actually have typing competitions during the month, sometime in the spring. And so they're all competing. They can practice at home. That is a good use of technology at home, is to be practicing their typing and getting better with those. So.